The last carve.
The air was sharp with the chill of late November, and the isolated cabin nestled deep in the woods was quiet, save for the rhythmic creak of an old rocking chair. Mark sat in it, his axe resting against his thigh, staring at the long dining table he'd spent hours setting. Plates gleamed under the dim glow of a single overhead light. Every detail was perfect, down to the neatly folded napkins and the golden brown turkey that sat at the centre. But no one was coming. Mark had always hated Thanksgiving. It reminded him of everything he lacked: a loving family, warm memories, and the laughter that seemed to echo from every home but his. This year he decided to change that. When his estranged brother Peter called out of the blue to invite him to Thanksgiving dinner, Mark had been hesitant. Their relationship had been strained for years, mostly due to Mark's volatile temper. But Peter had sounded sincere, and maybe Mark had been desperate enough to believe things could be different. So Mark offered to host instead. It was his way of proving he could be stable, welcoming, normal. He spent weeks preparing. The turkey recipe was perfect, the cabin spotless. But as the hours ticked by that evening, it became clear that no one was coming. Not Peter, not his wife, not their kids. They had lied to him. His hand clenched around the axe handle, the leather grip worn smooth by years of chopping wood. He tried to push the anger away, but it gnawed at him, whispering poisonous thoughts. They think you're a joke. They've always thought that. The whispers grew louder as the night wore on. He poured himself a glass of wine and tried to enjoy the meal alone, but the empty chairs mocked him. The turkey, perfectly roasted, seemed grotesque now. Its golden skin stretched taut, its hollow body a mirror of his emptiness. Mark began to imagine them here, seated around the table. He spoke to their empty chairs as if they were filled with smiling faces. He laughed at Peter's imaginary jokes and asked Peter's wife how she'd been, but the anger was still there, simmering beneath the surface. By midnight, Mark was drunk. The axe, no longer a tool for splitting wood, became something else, something heavier. He stumbled outside, the cold air biting his cheeks. In the woods beyond the cabin, he thought he saw movement, shadows darting between the trees, laughter, faint and mocking, drifted on the wind. "Peter!" he called, his voice breaking. "Is that you?" No response, but the whispers didn't stop. They urged him deeper into the forest, the axe growing heavier in his grip. The shadows grew closer, more tangible. They weren't Peter, they weren't anyone he recognized. "What do you want?" he shouted, spinning around. The laughter swelled, cruel and disembodied. Mark swung the axe wildly, striking nothing but air. His pulse thundered in his ears. When dawn broke, Mark was found wandering near the highway, his clothes streaked with blood. He muttered incoherently about the shadows and the voices, but the police weren't listening to his ramblings. They were more interested in the blooded axe he'd left behind in the cabin, and the discovery of several graves hidden beneath the dining room floor. The names carved into makeshift wooden markers were familiar. Peter, Peter's wife, their kids. Mark swore he didn't remember burying them, but the table had been set for them all along.